What's up, Bombshells? Welcome to Bombshell 1111 Podcast, Therapy for Women of Color. My name is Kia, and I'm your host. Generally, podcasts request donations, but I want you to show love by simply subscribing to my social media platforms by visiting my website at www.bombshell1111podcast.com. I want to see thousands of subscribers on this platform. Leave your comments and I'll show love by shouting you out on my social media platforms such as Instagram and Facebook. I want to thank you for your continued support as always. And with that being said, let's jump into this new episode.
Hello, my name is Julissa, and I'm here tonight to drop some bombs with Bombshell 1111.
Welcome back, Bombshells. I'm Kia, and I'm your host. Tonight, you guys will be talking about human resource management with my very special guest, Julissa. So let's get into it, Bombshells. Welcome, Julissa. How are you?
I am great. Listen, I am great. It's summer. It's June. I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. And I look so much forward to this podcast tonight because I love your energy and I know we're going to have a great conversation. I can feel it.
Energy hashtag crazy. It's okay.
See, you already my friend. You doing the hashtag.
Love it.
So, Julissa, for the audience, I did do a description I did a bio for you in the description down below. But for those who are not familiar or didn't have an opportunity to read that, can you give a short description of who you are, what you do, where you're from?
Absolutely. So Julissa, she, her pronouns. I'm the CEO and founder of Legacy HR Consulting, where we are passionate about creating workplaces where people feel supported. I've been in HR for over 15 years. It's actually been more than that, but I don't want to date myself, right? So we'll keep it at 15. 15 years. A lot of that experience has been building the HR department, the function from the ground up. I've been in business for technically 4 years. I started Legacy HRC purely as a side hustle. I love to travel and I like to spend money when I travel. And I was working at a nonprofit at the time. So I was trying to find ways to be able to make more money so I can travel. And then about 2 years ago, something called COVID happened, and as well as the social unrest. And it was around that time I kind of started to figure out, like, what do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to work on? I still wasn't very clear on that. But what I did know is I wanted to make this world a better place, doing what I do best, and that's creating workplaces where people feel supported, specifically with social justice organizations and mission-driven organizations. Now, 2 years from there, I have a team of 8, and we have grown very significantly, been able to grow and work and support a lot of great organizations that are out there doing great things, and mission-driven organizations. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I'm located in Houston, Texas, originally from the Bronx. Okay. And then spent most of my life in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And now I've been in Houston for the last 6 years.
Oh, wow. That's so dope. And you guys, did you hear her say CEO? Okay.
Oh, yeah, and Poundza.
Well, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that endeavor. That's awesome. That's so dope for you to start a project from the beginning and then you just, oh my God, you expanded like that. That's so dope. That's so dope. Congratulations.
It was all accidental, but not accidental, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So for individuals that don't know what a certified human resource project manager is, can you define that for the audience so we can have a better understanding?
Absolutely. So you have, most people are aware of like the project management certification, which I believe is a PMP, where you're helping work through projects. Similar designation, but you with a certified HR project manager, you're focused on HR specific projects, such as finding systems, creating HR systems and processes. There's a lot of HR information implementation. It's really like any project that deals with human resources, so essentially anything that deals with employees, anything that's internal that deals with employees, is being able to manage those projects from the very beginning of the project to the very end.
And so, Julissa, I know that you are a certified human resource project manager, but you also are a LUMA human-centered design practitioner.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so it's so funny because LUMA is very much like, breaking it down, it's coming up with solution, taking into consideration everyone's experience. And so that's kind of how I handle HR. It's really like, what's the experience from the employee? What's the experience from the manager? What's the experience from administrative? And what are we required to do? And how can we kind of meet in the middle? I'm all about not adding extra work to people, right? I feel like sometimes, and I've seen it, where HR can be more of a blocker or a hindrance or add more work. And it keeps people from being able to do their best work. And so that's really why I love LUMA, because it's taking everyone's experience into consideration. And we're utilizing different methods and ideology to come up and brainstorm new ideas so that everyone's, all of the stakeholders have a positive experience.
And so, Julissa, what exactly is a human-centered HR strategy? What exactly is that?
So a human-centered HR strategy is where it's not just about compliance. It's not just about protecting the company. It's also about taking care of your people. It's about really being cognizant and thoughtful about their experience in your organization, as well as meeting the compliance, as well as taking care of the business. So it's really centering around like more of a people-centered workplace, making sure that your team is supported.
And with your particular agency, how do you help clients?
We help clients. A lot of our clients are either from two different stages in their business. We have clients who are solopreneurs and getting ready to hire their first few employees, and they're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I know that there are rules. I know that I got to do something, but I have no idea. And I want to make sure that I foster a positive work culture, right? Because sometimes when we go out to business on our own, we unintentionally take some of these negative policies, processes from previous toxic workplaces. And that's because we don't know any better, right?
Right.
And then the other spectrum are organizations that maybe they do have an HR person there, but they want to be more inclusive. They want to develop policies that are more inclusive. Or we're helping them with systems, implementing systems so that they can continue to do the work that they need to do. And, we can automate and systematize other things for them.
So with the human resource project management, are you particularly only helping people in the Houston, Texas area?
No, actually, I am remote, and all of my clients, most of them are remote as well. They especially since COVID, a lot of them have decided to forego a physical location and hire from everywhere. So I literally have clients from New York City, California, Seattle, Michigan, Chicago, Atlanta, everywhere. I actually have very few clients in Houston, surprisingly enough.
Wow. And when you're meeting with the clients virtually or via online, is that something is there like you guys create a plan when it comes to the relationship, the working relationship, or how does that work?
Yeah. So it always depends on what they're coming to us for, right? There's always something they're like, oh crap, I need an HR person. I don't know what I'm doing here. Right. And it's always like, okay, what is your need? Let's take a look at what you're currently doing. What do you have? What don't you have? Also, what type of culture are you trying to foster? And let's come up with a game plan, right? And like for my clients that come to me who are like, hey, I want to hire an employee. What do I need to do? It's like, okay, let's develop an onboarding plan to make sure that we set up this person for success. Let's look at your systems. How can we automate some of these things so that you're not having to do it because you're a solopreneur and you have all of the other things? So how can we automate some of these things? And then it's also continuing them to offer support. We do have an HR help desk where it's that package or that service is for those individuals who don't really need a full-time HR person, but they would love someone that they can bounce some of these things with. Like if they have any employee issues, or need support with having difficult conversations, or need support with, hey, I created this policy, can you review it for me from an HR standpoint?
Oh my God, this is so dope, Julissa. I'm listening to you explain your agency. This is just so dope, because I only say that because I have so many friends that have small businesses that really need this type of service.
Absolutely. Especially since COVID. A lot of us, we're like, let's see what we can do on our own. And since COVID, and then you get to a point where, I did it. I didn't intend to find an agency, but I was working 24/7. And I was like, this is not what I wanted for my life.
Yeah.
Right? I need to start hiring a team. And then next thing I know, I'm like, okay, more work started coming. And it's like, okay, let me see what this agency model is all about. And then I was like, man, there are people who need this service, right? And they need a reasonable service. And it's also, again, we're more than just like coming from a compliance standpoint. We're very much coming from a people-centered and inclusive standpoint. You have to be super intentional in developing that culture. It doesn't just happen.
And speaking of being super intentional, particularly with your agency, because for some individuals with small businesses, or even just businesses in general, this is very important to them. What specific measures have you introduced, throughout your agency to help reduce, absenteeism, turnover? Because turnover is like the number one thing I think with any career. Turnover.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What have you introduced within your own agency?
Yeah, so I've been happy to say that I have had very little turnover in my agency, and that's because just always being transparent, always keeping everyone in the loop, even my contractors, right? So it's allowing people to have a part of the growth, and also, and I know my team gets tired of me asking this, is like, how can I help you? Right? So a lot of them started as contractors. They have their own businesses. And I would always say, how can I help you? Like, what can I help you with? How can we help you with your personal goals? How can we help you with your professional goals? And make this a mutually beneficial relationship, right? Because at the end of the day, like, I want to see this person succeed, whether it's within my organization or not. And I think that has helped to all those things, being transparent, involving people, having people be a part of, making sure that the work that they're working on are things that light them up wherever possible, and really helping them personally and professionally meet their own goals.
So, okay, let's jump in a different direction. Let's talk about strategies and things that you have developed specifically within your agency that you implement for your contractors, that your contractors implement to your customers. I'm sorry. What types of development strategies have you developed, Julissa, that you would like to talk about? Yes, for your client.
Yeah. So it always starts with onboarding to me. Like, it's very important that whoever you bring on, you set them up for success. And that's making expectations clear. That's having policies already developed, or some policies already developed. And then it's also developing an onboarding plan. I like to call it a 30, 60, 90, where you're very specific as like, okay, in 90 days, this is what you're going to be doing on your own with little help from me. In 60 days, we're going to be working on these things together. And in 30 days, that means you're going to be training and making sure that they're fostering relationships wherever they need to. So I definitely think that's always where it starts when you have your employee, is really, truly setting them up to succeed. And then developing intentional policies, having a culture guidance, which is what I call it. It's an employee handbook that fosters your culture, but also makes it very clear what the employee can expect from you and what you can expect from them.
I totally agree with you, Julissa. Just with my work experience, I feel like that is the most important thing, is the onboarding, because that builds an initial rapport with your staff. It kind of lets them know to a certain degree, what the mission and vision is going to look like moving forward.
Absolutely.
And then, like you said, I hate coming in, just in my career, coming into a job and being lost in the sauce.
Absolutely.
Not knowing what the expectation of me should be within 30 days or 90 days, like you said. And that's so crazy that you say that. because during the daytime, I supervise and I have a small team, and I created somewhat of I'm not human resources. I'm not as good
I'm
as
sure
you.
it's fantastic. And look, the fact that you created something. So the fact that you create, because, especially in this world, in this online space, it's a lot of like, okay, we've hired you, now figure it out. And I don't have the time to help train you. I don't have the time to help support you through this, right?
Yeah.
And so really, when you should be developing these things is before you're hiring someone.
Right, because Julissa, I just felt like people were just lost in the sauce, didn't know what to expect. And I'm like, if this were me, I would need to have boom, 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 boom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it also helps you as an employer, as a boss. Like, if things aren't working out, like, hey, like, I made it very explicit what's expected, right? And then when things aren't being met or people aren't doing these things, that's where you have that conversation. What more support can we provide you? Or is this a good fit for you, right?
Wow,
do we need to, is there another position within the organization? What else do you want to do? Or it's all, hey, it's okay, it's not a good fit, it's time to let you go, right? But I think that's usually better received when you are like being very clear as to what's expected along the way. Because I know in my previous career, I've been a part of terminations where people had no idea that they weren't meeting expectations, that they weren't doing well. And I'm like, when you're letting someone go, they should never be surprised.
Right. Never. You're absolutely right. This is so crazy. We're having this conversation because I literally just had this conversation a couple of days ago with a coworker. So this is and the exact same things that you're saying was said. So yeah, I know you're right on the money with it. So Julissa, what sets your agency aside from other agencies?
It's definitely the the LUMA human-centered design approach. I find that a lot of HR consulting agencies are kind of just like pulling cookie cutter templates. They're not taking into consideration like DE&I. They're not taking into consideration like the culture that someone's trying to foster or build. And so I think for sure what sets us apart is that people-centered, human-centered design approach to everything that we do.
I totally agree. Julissa, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing your knowledge and your tools about the different services that you provide.
Absolutely.
And the background.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And the background about your agency. But before we end, I still have a couple of more questions for you. One, I want you to be able to let the listening audience know how to get connected to you for your services or for more information.
Absolutely. So the best place to start is our website to get an idea of the services that we offer, which is www.legacyhrc.com. You can definitely connect with me either on LinkedIn. It's Julissa, Julissa Martis. You could also get connected with me on Instagram at Julissa Martis or at Legacy HRC for the company.
And again, I know we, covered this at the beginning of the podcast, but I just want to reiterate this again. The services that you provide, they are via online and in person?
Remote and in person if you're in Houston, Texas area. But we can definitely get a lot done remotely for sure.
Is there anything, Julissa, that you feel that we missed that we should talk about?
No, I think this is a great starting point. I hope people are intrigued and about human resources, and hopefully they're not scared. I feel like when people think of human resources, they think of the principal's office. And, there are some of us out there that really care. And again, I'm passionate about, I came from a toxic workplace at some point, and that really impacted my mental health. And so that's why I'm so passionate about making sure that we're creating workplaces where people feel like they could bring their authentic selves and they feel supported.
And just to end the podcast, Julissa, could you leave the audience with a piece of advice for those individuals who may tend to also, what you just said, very well have that fear of human resources, being on the outside looking in? What piece of advice would you give a employee?
I would say if you don't feel supported, that may be a good time to start considering other options, because there are many other organizations out there that will take care of you. and we'll make sure that you feel supported. I know it because I work with a lot of them.
Well, Julissa, again, I thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the podcast. I thank you for sharing your knowledge and your tools. I hope you come back and join us again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you. And you guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks to Julissa for joining us. I hope you guys were able to hear something that was beneficial to you guys. And with that being said, thanks for listening. And always remember, you are a bomb within your own shell, you guys. Peace, love, and light. Until next time, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Okay.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure you subscribe so you're notified when a new episode is posted, rate, review, and share this podcast with your family and friends. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you're leaving with some valuable information that can help you on your personal journey. Also, check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bombshell 1111 or at Bombshell 1111 TV. You can also check out our mental health page, Your Health is Your Wealth, on Facebook, which is a page created to inform and support individuals with mental health and other health conditions. And with that being said, always remember, you guys, you are a bomb within your own shell. And until next time, peace, love, and light.